Good evening, everyone, and I'm here again. And tonight I want to just take a moment to talk about the violent and destructive student behaviors that are getting worse. Recently, I talked about the 6-year-old student, 6 years old, 6 years old, that's a baby, who shot his teacher in Newport, Virginia. Thank goodness the teacher is recuperating well. She started out in a critical condition and then she started getting stable. So we're thankful for that, and you will see her picture posted here. A teacher whom sometimes, depending on the cultures that we are from, we usually say that there are some teachers who are very calm and nice to these children. But yet these children can become so violent. They say such harsh words. I am an educator, and I see and I experience a lot of these things, that you are showing kindness, and yet a simple question to a student: what are you talking to me for? Don't talk to me. And sometimes I have to say, John Brown, I did not yell at you. I did not disrespect you. So please follow directions. We go in every day to the classrooms and the abuse is unending. Every single day. And you report and you write and you report and you write. And you have to walk in the next day and the child is sitting right in your face. They threaten you and you go to work the next day thinking that maybe they'll be out for a day or two, but they're right there in your face. So now we don't know when it's going to get out of control. In this situation, a 6-year-old child, who could think that a 6-year-old child would have walked into a classroom with a gun in his book bag, kept it quietly enough that nobody knew he had it, and when the time was right for him, took it out and shot a teacher? Who knew? But what we know is that after COVID, the children came back, and we talk about their emotional stance as they come back. They went through a lot. They saw a lot. But then we take it lightly and everything is pushed back in the classroom on the teacher. And we must find a fix for everything. And then they started talking about restorative justice. And that's what people do. They sit and they create these things without understanding what we have to work with every single day. They come up with these little ideas like, yes, restorative justice. You have to have a circle and you have to talk about it, and then you have them write a letter of apology, and then they'll come and verbally apologize. And then you tell them they have to participate in something and they have to write a little reflection paper. A lot of these kids cannot read or write. A lot of them just, they pre-prepare the papers for them, so they just fill in something on it. And it means absolutely nothing, because the problems are deeper than just a circle and talk about it, because they talk about, because that's what you ask them to do. But do they mean what they say? Or do they just do what you tell them so they can just get out your face and go back to what they're doing? So we're at these crossroads. Teachers are fleeing the classrooms, and the teachers who are left have to deal with the abuse day in, day out, the threats, and nothing changes. And here I want to share with you a report and some video, a couple pictures from Jane Morris, teacher misery. And she talks about the restorative justice in schools. She says the lack of consequences for violent and destructive behaviors, they are getting worse in our schools. So they start adapting to this restorative justice. So rather than they claim that you punish a student through suspension, they think restorative justice in schools will work. But is it working? It says that although many students do see writing anything as a form of punishment, most of these consequences are not really severe enough, considering the offenses the students are guilty of. And so they keep pulling back on resources, and they keep pushing everything in there on the teacher, right? They keep the monies, and they think that, oh, the teacher can handle it. Kids who need services, no services are provided. But because the teachers come in every day and find strategies to survive, find strategies to make things work, then everybody just fold their arms and they sit back and they feel good, while teachers put up with the more abuse, more name calling, more threats. And somebody comes and pick up the kid and they say, okay, let's do a circle. But yet the circle, after the circle is broken, the next day or a few hours they bring them back to the classroom and put them back in there, and they walk away, and the child, again, they disrupt. And if you say, we need to settle down, then all of a sudden you are the B word and get out of my face, B, and all of these things that you have to deal with. And the children who are there to learn and are trying their best to learn have to deal with the teacher trying to keep a calm environment. And while these children just run amok. Sometimes when you say, maybe I need to call security, oh, call them, or let me go find them. Because they know that the consequence is little or nothing. And so the saga continues, people. And again we say, that is why we have a teacher who got shot in a classroom by a 6-year-old child, 6 years old. If this child is so filled with so much rage and hatefulness, at age 6, what's going to happen when he gets to be 10 and 12? Or gets to become a teenager? So the restorative justice, as Miss Jane Morris says, became popular, but the backlash against zero tolerance discipline policies is that a larger number of youths are now doing more destructive things. We have 3 kids aged 12 to 14 who started a fire, she said, that took 20 entire fire departments to put it out. Right? 3 kids aged 12 to 14. Cost millions of dollars to fix what they broke. It says before COVID and remote learning struggles, implementing restorative justice measures could take days, even weeks, as schools coordinated talking circles around the schedules of teachers, principals, counselors, parents, and even the security forces there on the campus. And all of these meetings, it's taking time away from what you're hired to do, from the things that need to be done. And then you talk about that meeting is just a one student. And you think of all the grade levels, especially in middle school, 3 grade levels in there, with so many students in each grade level. And so many of them who need the support or need to be restored, some form of restorative justice. But look at all that it's going to take to coordinate one talking circle. So the resources never came. We never got the resources to put those things, to do the follow-ups and to do all of that. And so students received the message that they could pretty much do and say whatever they felt like with zero consequence. It's too much to put it together. Principal is not in the building. The AP is busy with something more important. The social worker has 27 or 30 students to attend to. And so, again, the saga continues. So there were a lot of bad behaviors that were just not getting checked. So because of the lack of consequences, students felt empowered. They feel good. Because the more they got away with the bad behaviors, the more they will push. When they call you the B word and nothing gets done, nobody think it's necessary. Because, you know, as I have seen, my people, that as a teacher, when a student call you the B word, they call you the B word every single day. And you're saying, look, I need to have a talk with this kid, so and so and so, and nothing gets done because, it's nothing. But then you watch to see when an administrator gets called the B word, and all of a sudden, oh no, you don't call your administrator the B word. Oh no, you're going home for 5 days. And just like that, the kid gets a consequence. But it just seemed like teachers were made to we must just suck it up. What are you complaining for? We know the child has some issues. You know that's expected of the child. Suck it up. And so when the children see there are no consequences, my people, they go deeper. I know that you're not just the B word, but you're now the effing B. And they laugh at it and they feel good about it because you could write till you're blue. You write and you write and you write. They might get a lunch detention, but nothing. And you have to suck it up because what? You have no feelings. So you shouldn't feel bad when the children speak to you in those abusive manners. And so they keep pushing. And they keep pushing, and you'll see a picture here that I will share with you where you had a student